Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit that subscribe button if you're new so you don't miss any of our great football content this season. All right. John Middlekauff, former NFL scout, has his own podcast, Three and Out. Can't tell you how many people come up to me in Chicago, GMs. They're like, "Oh, I love Middlekauff so much." They never say that about me. They love you.
Well, tell him I don't know if Middlekauff's going to the Hall of Fame like you. So congratulations, by the way. That's pretty
I
cool.
appreciate it. Buffalo 28, Kansas City 21. I looked at this number today. To me, this was really the game. Is that Mahomes was uncomfortable and Josh Allen was really comfortable. He was sacked 3 times, hit 15 times. And when Mahomes, John, doesn't trust his offensive line, it changes the way he plays. He presses, he takes more risks. And I thought the game really came down to that, is that I just thought Josh was really comfortable and Patrick wasn't.
I just know this: if the Bills can find a way to play like they do against the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season, in the postseason, they will win the Super Bowl because they thoroughly outplayed them today, outgained them by 100 yards. We're up double digits in the fourth quarter. I mean, it took a 4th and 17, which only Andy Reid would have a 4th and 17 play that would come wide open. But listen, that Bills team that we just saw, that team can win the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. But we see them on a weekly basis not look as good on defense. The pass rush isn't always there. Joey Bosa looked like, I don't know, his 3rd year with the Chargers today. So I don't know where that version of the Bills is always, because they make a ton of plays when they have to against the Ravens. And in the regular season, I mean, Colin, this is now kind of a theme, obviously at home. And this is why I've said from the jump, getting home field for the Bills is really big. And today was a bigger game for them because at the end of the day, like, Chiefs have already won
Right.
Super Bowls. Like, I think they will eventually win another one. But if they get bounced in the first or second round one year, whatever, this year for the Bills, you just have to hold serve with the Patriots. They have an easier schedule than you. They keep taking care of business. If they would have lost today, they would have been at a 1-game deficit, and they've already lost to them. So there was a lot of pressure. And in fairness, I thought they answered the bell. Beside a couple plays in the second
Right.
half, they were really good,
Well,
Colin.
I mean, and the other thing Bosa is healthy. He's 30. Greg Rousseau is 25. AJ Epineza is 27. These guys are in their athletic prime, and they've drafted pretty well in the back end. So Denver is now on a heater. Denver's 9-2, and now plays Kansas City next, and Kansas City is 5-4. And so now Joe Alt got banged up today, but the Chargers are 6-3. So you get into a really weird situation here where if Denver beats, I mean, it was the worst thing possible for Denver. I don't know what the line is. I'm taking Kansas City against Denver when Kansas City loses. But I think the thing that jumped out to me today was that, we've talked a lot about the defense. Ed Oliver didn't play, but we talk a lot about Buffalo's defense all year. So much of defense is effort. Right, like I was talking to somebody the other day about this. Is that offensive players out of high school, they'll follow a coach. Offensive players want the coach. Defensive players, they high schoolers, they want to go to big schools, right? They most defensive coaches they see as the same thing. Defensive players are about wrecking things, and I do think, when you take that Buffalo defensive front and they play Mahomes, they play differently. It's different than playing Michael Penix. And I've always felt offense is about choreography, but I felt like the defensive front today for Buffalo knew the red light was on. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like they played with way more energy. Many of the same players played above what they've been playing at all year. I feel like defensive players can play at a different intensity level depending on the opponent. 10 times they've played 5-5, and I don't know. I thought that was the difference. I thought the defensive line for Buffalo was great.
Well, can I piggyback off what you just said about the defense? I think, and I've said this now for a while, that when you look at the NFL and they've tried to clean up the
Yeah.
game, right? So now when you watch, guys are much safer. They take a very conscious effort to officiate dirty calls. And I think most guys now, if you're 25, you have gone through college in the NFL being taught how to hit, right? And not use your helmet. But I do think if we mic'd up defensive coordinators, like if you got the defensive meeting room on Saturday night and before the team came out this week and probably all week, fans would be uncomfortable what's being said in there, especially from the Buffalo side. And you could go around the league. I bet if you got Brian Flores mic'd up this week on Wednesday night, on Saturday night, it would make a lot of people uncomfortable with what they're. I enjoy that, and I know what I'm. But I still think the way they talk and what they preach, it still has similarities going back to the 80s and the 90s. And Buffalo's front is really talented. They just lost Ed Oliver. The first round draft pick from Kentucky. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, listen, I'm with you. His offensive line was in tatters. You can't throw that interception late in the game because they never got the ball back, essentially, right? So it's like that was killer. And they just need some more impact plays on defense. We'll talk about the Steelers. Well, what happened today? Their high-priced guys, especially up front, made huge plays. So when you're playing in playoff games, I'm sure we'll talk about the baseball game too. Sometimes you just need a random guy to make a big-ass play, whether that's a tip ball for a pick, whether that's a fumble, and obviously your stars to make big plays. So, Buffalo and Coach Reed and all the Brett Veach, all those guys will tell you, Josh Allen is the best player they play and has been for now 5 years. I mean, because not only he matches his play against the other randoms against them, and he's one of the rare ones, if not the only guy, who has consistently done that now for 4
Well, they were 60% on third down. They had 140 yards rushing. I thought, and I thought it was going to be high scoring. And I said, I'll take Kansas City. But when these two teams play, you never count Kansas City out. But I felt like today, this was Buffalo's day because Buffalo had lost at home to New England. So again, I watched that game. The intensity felt different today. It feels different in the stadium when Kansas City plays there. You get Nance, you get Romo. It just feels different. And Josh Allen, they said this during the game. 79 rushing touchdowns in 8 years. Jesus, that's just insane. He is one of the things when I watch, and I feel this way to a lesser degree with Lamar Jackson, but I do think there are certain things. I guess I would say this. I feel generally Kansas City has slightly better personnel than Buffalo. But right now, does Buffalo have the right ingredients? Star running back. Mahomes doesn't. Better defensive front with more high-level guys, right? Chris Jones has not had a great year. So we know Buffalo and Kansas City have good GMs and great quarterbacks, and we know Andy's very clever in these games. But a lot of times, John, it's units. The 2 times Mahomes has been blown out in Super Bowls, he had a bad O-line. The O-lines are both fine, although Kansas City's got overwhelmed today. But that defensive front right now for Buffalo, it reminds me, there's just a lot of guys. I feel like there's just a lot of guys that play. Throw Milano in there when he's healthy. I mean, Josh is only 29. He's going to have 6 more cracks at the Super Bowl minimum. But I felt today watching him, I'm like, they've got it. They've had it before, but Cook playing at this level, Buffalo's got all the ingredients.
I would say this too: if Kincaid is going to look like that, that's what they drafted him high to look like a Laporta, to look like a Tucker Kraft, a Kittle, a Kelsey. So if he's going to play like that, I mean, Cook. If you had to look at 2025, you would say Jonathan Taylor's had the best year at running back.
Right.
McCaffrey is just week in, week out bringing it. And you would put Cook, I mean, he's been one of the best running backs in the NFL this year. And you watch him on a weekly basis, not really debatable. So you get high-level tight end play. You get high-level running back play. I would say since Cook has become a high-end starter, it's really changed the Bills' offense. And it's made Joe Brady look a lot better. The other thing is, if you have a good defensive line, the Chiefs are missing their star rookie left tackle, who's been gone now for several weeks. Today they had multiple injuries at right guard, at left guard, and at right tackle. Well, that means your backup left tackle is starting because Simmons is gone. So you actually are going to like a backup's backup. The domino effect was pretty big, and you just saw him kind of under duress. And the reality is sometimes when he's under duress, he will make decisions like, other run-of-the-mill quarterbacks and not one of the great players we've ever seen. And he did today.